Minimalists.
How do I balance positivity and disappointment? I'm trying to live with contentment after some dreams fell apart, but I also feel like I have zero goals and I don't know where to derive them from. Well,
Okay, this might be, I don't know whether or not we have the same view on this, but I'm really interested to hear because the feeling as though I need to have goals, that brings us back to the bucket list thing. Bucket list is just another way to say goal. Life goals, substantial goals, experiential goals.
yeah.
We don't have to have goals,
Mm-mm.
but you don't also have to not have goals either.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes we get energy and direction and momentum in our life when we take a minute to not worry about being positive, to really get a clearer sense of what we feel called to do, like where we feel energy, like where our gifts meet people's real needs. And then sometimes it's better not even to focus on how we're feeling about our own situation. Be like, how can I serve people best? And when I do that, then maybe, and then like let's just dig in there a bit. And I find that's been a helpful discernment tool for me.
I love that because people often will feel defeated because they're not called to do something.
Yeah.
They don't have this desire. So they're sitting there like, well, I don't have a desire to do something. Like there must be something wrong with me. And now I got to figure out a goal because that'll give me the desire. But the question I love that you posited was, how can I serve people? Go to a soup kitchen. Like just start there, just do something for others. Like that's always going to, I don't know. It's always going to make you feel like at least you're contributing in some way. And that's what all we want. Every single human on this planet wants to contribute in some way. So the question is, how can you contribute? Not like, what can I go do that's going to bring me elation or make me feel fulfilled or make me feel happy. It's more about, how can I contribute? Because
care, like other people, caregiving services, like, there's obvious ones like nurses and social workers and pastors and blah, blah, blah. But like just the other people love focused ones often brings out in people gifts they didn't know they had. Like, oh wait, I have the kind of face that like people want to tell stuff to. And I do great in elder care facilities. Like you see people's like gifts come alive when they can see that spark mirrored back in somebody else. And they're like, wait, I kind of have something special here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't noticed it too.
Yeah.
About 9 years ago, we have a friend, Leo Babalta, who is a Zen Buddhist, and he runs a great website called Zen Habits. And I heard he and I were talking, and he mentioned about something about not having goals and how he now lived his life with no goals. And I'm like, that's because I had the very type A American. I had spreadsheets of goals, literally.
Yes.
And sub goals under the goals, and
percentage completed to goal.
Absolutely.
Concatenated formulas.
Yes, I was very good at Microsoft Excel.
I would have absolutely
This is
loved
not
to
an
see that.
exaggeration. This
no,
is
I
like
believe
legit,
you, and I'm deeply invested.
Multiple tabs
Yeah.
with my goals and the
Pivot
goals.
tables.
Yes, it was. And what I realized, and he just said, he wasn't trying to convince me of anything. He just talked about it. I said, that's fascinating. And I've always looked up to Leo because of there's like a deep contentment within him.
Yeah.
And he has 6 kids, so I don't know how he's so content all the time. And so I said, you know what, so I did this experiment. I did 100 days with no goals, which...
Oh, that's so rich.
Ironic, right? Although at first I said, okay, I didn't even know how long I was going to do it. I don't want to even make this a goal, so I'm just going to try to live with no goals, right? And it exposed a few things in me, but first off, the main thing it exposed was my goals were making me miserable. And I didn't even realize it because I was completing so many of these goals. And what would happen? I'd get around the bend and the goal would be complete. And now it's like, well, what's the next goal? And even before I completed the goal, I'd have my eye on the horizon, or I'd have my eye in the rear view. And I'm constantly living. I met these goals, and those are the other goals. And I was never present. I was never in the now, so to speak. I was so caught up in this goal-oriented life. It was just another manifestation of what the hustle culture of today. And what I realized is it's still important for me to have direction, but the goals, I do my best to avoid the specific, I need to get this in order to be happy, because I know the happiness cannot be pursued. It can only be uncovered.
It makes me think about the whole thing I'm going through right now with wanting to be able to surf better. It's like the direction is I want to be able to like surf and feel comfortable and be confident, and it's fun. Like I want to be able to surf like I snowboard. I can, I feel very confident snowboarding. So, but that's the direction. It's not like, oh, I need to lose 15 pounds, or I need to be able to like break a world record, or I need to be able to do a kickflip on a surfboard, which they've recently been able to do.
Oh my God.
Within the last like few years. Anyway, it is crazy. But so yeah, those are what Josh is saying. That's kind of the difference for me. It's like, that's the direction. Feeling better.
Okay, to get back to the question from Jackie here, how do I balance positivity and disappointment?
Yeah.
I think the way that it's balanced is by understanding that we don't need either of them. We don't need the goals. We don't need the positivity. If these things arise, then they happen to arise, right?
Yeah.
The disappointment for me came from all of those goals.
Yeah.
And because I would be meeting 80% of the goals, which meant I was a failure 20% of the time, and how awful am I? And I start to create this narrative of, you know what? My life is not going to be complete until I can complete all these goals. But then, of course, new goals always emerge, and thus new disappointment always emerges.
I hear that. Yeah. Honestly, I am struggling with this because I keep trying to undo that impulse, but then when I get scared, it just kicks back up.
The fear.
It does.
The fear leads to a completionism.
Yeah, it really makes me feel like I was kind of in a nice third gear, and then now I'm just in a Vin Diesel movie. Someone's describing Nas to me, which I still don't understand.
Ryan can explain it to you after the podcast.
You're like,
I don't know what Nas is.
It's an energy drink he has.
Yeah, right, exactly. Something to do with nitrous? I have no idea.
Yeah, it does feel like I want to like accelerate into, and that I think just, I like the direction imagery. And especially too, because it is fun to try. I mean, it is fun to like remember your body doing something and push it to do something else. And all that does bring us, transformation is fun. And the joy of just having the privilege of being able to change it all. That always feels like kind of a miracle to me. But I do, like, honestly, I'm just really, I feel so much compassion for your Excel self. Your Excel self and my Excel self really have some stuff in there.
Yeah, I very rarely use Excel now because I've become allergic to it. It's like some people develop a peanut allergy. I developed a spreadsheet allergy.
Yeah.
Because
he gets so swollen when he ever looks at the spreadsheet.
What I realized is there was so much discontent and disappointment.
Yeah.
It's so caught up in the striving.
Yeah.
And it comes from what everyone else believes we are supposed to do. Back to you wrote a whole book about the church planting and all of this stuff. And there is a striving in that. We're all supposed to do this. Infinite, never-ending growth. And that is the key to what? Success, happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction, even tranquility. Somehow peace is somewhere right around the corner.
Yeah. But it's usually just a second while I'm suspended midair while jumping between things. You're like,
right.
Yeah.
Yet it's there the whole time. All we're doing is covering up that peace.
Yeah.
With a bunch of to-do lists.
I have this other friend who I just love, and I feel like all my friends like this really all live in California because they're like that person with like intensity behind their eyes. And my favorite is like if I'm in the middle of like kind of a season where I'm just like not slowing down or whatever, he's always like, "Who's chasing you?" Which is such a great thing to say.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And
hate you.
because the chase, either someone's chasing us, we feel like, and therefore we're running from the fear. Kapil Gupta says fear results whenever there's a consequence. When without a consequence, there's never fear.
Mm.
And what's fascinating about that is most of these consequences, these are just stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah,
Insignificant. Yeah.
Yeah, they are hilariously. I mean, some of the things that I've been just like amped up about. I mean, they're not even going to be worth the story at the end of my life.
Isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
I assume there are probably things you've gotten more worked up about in your head that are inconsequential compared to like cancer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes like scale wise, when I'm like, this is the thing. Sometimes I have to, I think partly because of the mountaintops and valleys feeling, I'm pretty good at the mountaintop and I'm pretty good at the valley. But sometimes the mundaneness in the middle is where I lose perspective.
Yeah, that's for me too. It's the, like, I am trying to develop this power of like sitting with boredom in a way, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right. It's the middle is the hardest part to deal with. It's easy to process when you have a really sharp emotion.
Yeah.
But that like no emotion is it's a little bit more difficult to sit with.
Very calm. I can kind of like I would just random stuff happen to me. Like I was bitten by a poisonous snake last month, and I had to walk into a hospital and be like, "So I've been poisoned." And I couldn't stop laughing because it was so funny, and like, and I knew that they were like talking about whether they had to amputate my leg, and it was fine, but they were like using words like envenomation, and I was so cool about it because I was like, I don't know, the mountaintops and the valleys, I'm A-okay. But like, you know,
it's the
6
tumbling
hours later,
between.
It's the like faculty meetings or emails where people are, I can't understand tone, or you know, it's just like, why am I upset about this? But I was really chill about the copperhead.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what the prosperity gospel folks would say about you being bit by a venomous snake.
But then I survived.
That's right. She's the chosen
Thanks
one.
to who?
Yeah. Obviously, my faith, obviously. And also the $100,000 envenomation process.
Oh, my God.
It really does, guys. It costs $100,000.
Oh, my God.
They had to make it. They had to make it, and I asked them for the history of it, and I was really invested.
Oh,
Now she's immune. We can hand her poisonous snakes.
That's right. Go ahead and try to poison her.
Chug. Yeah. And that's how this podcast ends.
Oh, my God.
Kate, I want to acknowledge you.
Yes.
By the way, your new book is called No Cure for Being Human. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. Where else should people find you?
Oh, you can find me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Kate C. Bowler. And I've got katebowler.com if you want to listen to I have a podcast called Everything Happens, where I talk to people about the befores and the afters in their lives. And everyone has one.
Yeah.
I enjoy Everything Happens. By the way, you wrote a book with this title, and it might be my favorite book title. It's Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Loved.
Yeah.
And, because what you're doing there is you're exposing a platitude, and quite often there's profundity in a lot of platitudes. Yeah. But not in this one.
Unless you're hypercausal and a heat-seeking missile of meaning.
Yes. And isn't that most of us?
I was just going to say,
what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, man.
Did you enjoy this video? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast, available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists today. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.